This VAWatchdog.org news video is brought to you by Bergman & Moore, LLC. Former VA attorneys now fighting VA for you. Call Bergman & Moore at 877-838-2889 or on the web at vetlawyers.com.
A stunning statement from the United States military. It says open burn pits in Iraq exposed thousands of troops to toxic chemicals. It insists they're not in danger of long-term health risks, but the widow of an Iraq war veteran isn't so sure. Let's bring in our senior Pentagon correspondent, Jamie McIntyre. Jamie, what are the troops and their families saying?
Well, Wolf, it's very reminiscent of the 1991 Persian Gulf War. Once again, U.S. troops believe they were sickened by chemicals they encountered in Iraq.
Kevin was perfectly healthy before he went to Iraq. He's always been in good health, a good, healthy eater, exercises on a regular basis, and there was not one thing wrong with him when he went to Iraq.
Just months after returning home to Florida in 2006, Major Kevin Wilkins developed headaches, but never saw a doctor. Soon after his second Iraq tour last year, Wilkins, a registered nurse in the Air Force Reserve, died of an advanced brain tumor at age 51. His widow, Jill, suspects this is what killed him, an open-air burn pit at the Balad Air Base in Iraq. For 4 years, the burn pit was a festering dump, spewing acrid smoke over the base, including housing and the hospital. Until 3 incinerators were finally installed, the smelly pit was the only place to dispose of trash, including plastics, food, and medical waste, all burned by dousing it with jet fuel. While Balad is the biggest, pits like this exist at bases elsewhere in Iraq and Afghanistan, some with no incinerators still.
They didn't know that the smoke that they were walking in every day actually could be harmful to them.
The military admits smoke from the pit exposed Major Wilkins and thousands of others to toxic emissions, including at times low levels of cancer-causing dioxins, but says it was not a danger.
The data indicate that there are no substances above a health threshold that should generate any long-term health risks, including cancer.
While the cause of his brain tumor is not known, Jill was told by doctors who worked with her husband at a Florida emergency room that exposure to chemicals, like those that come from burning trash, is a potential risk factor. Mostly, though, troops complain about breathing problems, some coughing up a black substance, or Iraqi crud, as the troops call it.
We know that some concerns have been raised. We're sensitive to those, and we empathize with the people who feel like they may have been harmed in some particular way.
At the Pentagon's Force Health Protection Directorate, officials analyzed more than 160 air samples and concluded in a soon-to-be-released report the only risk is of temporary respiratory distress, nothing that poses a long-term threat.
But we do know that some people are affected by that smoke. It's not the best quality of life for those individuals, but we have to remember that this is a wartime situation.
One reason for the alarm, a 2006 memo in which an environmental engineer cited a study labeling the pit the worst environmental site I have personally visited. And more alarm when results from a new study were released with a math error, overstating the dioxin levels by 1,000 times. Meanwhile, Major Wilkins' widow is trying to stay upbeat as she deals with the Department of Veterans Affairs to get the benefits she feels her family deserves.
You have to make jokes about it, otherwise you just cry every day. It's crazy. You know, you want me to be sticking up for him like I'm doing now.
Now, the U.S. military is continuing to monitor the situation, but Wolf, officials say whatever the science shows, the most important thing is that the soldiers, the troops, get the care that they need.
That's really important. Let's hope they do.
VAWatchdog.org, the nation's #1 independent veterans website. On the web at VAWatchdog.org.